Hey fishing friends, this is Matthew with Out Fishing 13 bringing you another reel repair video for a Zebco. Just today I picked up on my local ads an older USA made Zebco 33 Rhino. These are really great reels and you can pick them up for a bargain. This one I've looked on the inside already and it's pretty clean. It looks like it's hardly been used. I mean, generally these stickers start wearing off if they're used a lot, but this one doesn't look like it's been used. These ones are from the 80s or 90s and they're really great reels. So let's get started into this and take a look at what we need to do to service it. If you enjoy my video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and that will really help my channel grow. It's been growing a lot recently because there's so many people that are interested in these Zebco 33s, and my videos will help you rejuvenate and get these back out of the dust and off the shelves and back out catching fish, because they're great reels, and if they have some problems you can probably fix them. So let's get started and it's a little bit dirty. That comes off nice and easy. Let's take this off. Okay, that's actually part of the drag. Take that off. Okay. This has one plastic drag washer there, and then one slotted or keyed drag washer here. And I don't see any oil on these at all. There's hardly any oil on the back of there. I don't think that this reel has ever really been used that much, and even service just looks like it's collected a bunch of dust. But you see how I took that out? It's basically the same on either side, so it could go either way. But it's just got a little slot here that goes into this piece right there. And the way that the drag works is that when you tighten it up, it screws out a little screw that presses up against this plate that presses up against the spool. So it's just a little pressure thing there. It's actually a really good drag system though. So when you take it apart, it's best to set the drag all the way down to the low. So this is super clean. Yours might be really dirty, so when you take this apart, what you can do is just take this in and put it in your kitchen sink and use some warm soapy water and scrub it out with some warm soapy water, rinse it off and let it dry off overnight. After you take it all apart, of course. Okay, let's take this off of here. Okay, take the back off. Okay, everything in here looks really clean. I don't know if this reel has really been used that much. Looks kind of grungy in there. So you take this out. Okay, that's really yucky. Take and get some of that. See, and the thing about this grease, all this grease right here, it doesn't do any good. All it does is collect dust. So you don't need that much grease on here, because it just gets slung off and then it just accumulates. I'll throw that away. All that greasy stuff. Okay, and then to take this out, we need to take this little piece off here. It's a little plastic piece. Okay, and just pay attention to how that goes in there. The flat side goes towards the just like that, and it's got a little notch on there that goes down up against there. Okay. Oh yeah, to take this out it's a little bit tricky. you actually have to take the main bushing out. It slides out this way, so you have to take this out. Let's see if we can get it out. There we go. So you take this main bushing out right there. It's actually a steel bushing, and then that gives you the ability to twist it out and take it out like that. Okay, now pay attention to how these anti-reverses go in there. This little piece right here has to go over and set in the little slot over there, just like that. Can you see that? So again, this anti-reverse, it's this little friction thing here, and it has to go down in a slot down in there in order for it to work, because that's what engages it. Okay, so I've got that out, and I really don't need to take this little anti-reverse out. To take it out, you have to take out this little plastic thing. You have to press down on there. And I really don't need to take it apart that far. I don't need to take this apart right here for the drag. You could if it was really dirty, but essentially you can wash this all now with soap and water and dry it out overnight and put it back together, and it'll be fine, because everything else in here is either plastic, stainless steel, brass, you know, and it's not going to hurt it. We don't need to take this main bushing out here. I don't know if you could take it out if you need to, but there's a bushing down in here. This reel does not have any bearings, so I'm just going to wipe some of this old grease out, and then we'll grease it back up. So I'll take some of it out by this little piece right here just slides off, and it has a certain amount of friction. If it's really loose, what you can do is squeeze it back together just a little tiny bit with a pair of pliers. You know, you can come in here and squeeze it together so that it fits on here tighter, because it needs, if it's loose, it won't work. And if your anti-reverse is not working, it's possible that this right here is really loose. So it's actually made with a little slot there. You can take a pair of pliers and just squeeze it back enough that it, when you put it back on here, it's got some friction, okay? And that's all it needs to do to operate the anti-reverse. Brush off some of this grease that's on these teeth, because we're going to put new grease on there. This is also a steel gear here, this pinion gear. It's all steel and it's really tough, but it's not super duper tough. Clean this off a little bit. We'll make sure that we get some good grease in there. Okay, we're ready to put it back together. So what we have to do is we have to take and go ahead, and we're going to grease this gear with some good red grease. We just need to put it around on the teeth. We don't need to gob a bunch right in the middle. Okay, we got it all lubricated up. We need to put this piece on here, the anti-reverse little actuator. Make sure it goes with the little tab pointing towards the gear, just like that. Let's make sure we lube this shaft up with some lube. I want to put a little bit of oil on there, just a little bit. And then that actuator, the anti-reverse pawl, this needs to go in there and set right in there like that, okay? Just like that. Okay, and now we're ready to put the bearing or the bushing back in there. And I've already got grease on there. I'm just going to put a little bit on here just so that it has some in there on that case to slide it in there and protect it from water. So we'll push it in there like so. And you need to get it all the way in, just like that, so that you can see that little race in there where this piece will go in there and lock it in. So you just take and then you snap that in there. And remember, it's got a little tab on the back here that goes this direction, and the flat part goes towards there. So you just snap it in right there, and that holds in place, okay? And my anti-reverse, I can see that it works just fine. See that? I can try it out before I finish putting everything else together. I can turn this little switch there, and now it doesn't work, okay? Now let's take and put some grease on this, on the pinion. So I'm going to put my good red Lucas grease on there. Okay. And I want to put some oil down in here so it can lubricate this as this slides back and forth. Every time you cast it, this little piece right here slides back and forth. Alright, so let's put some of the lighter weight grease on the shaft right here and put that down in there. Okay, slide it all the way in. Okay, and the back is done. And you see there's not a ton of grease in there because you don't need a ton of grease. You just need good grease that stays on the gears. So I'm going to go ahead and put the back on. Before I do, I'm going to put a little bit of grease right on this. I always like to have a little bit of grease, just a little tiny touch on that piece of metal right there. And then we'll put the back on. Alright, if you want, well, you got this direction here, you can put a little bit of oil down in there and work it in. Now help that run smooth. Now let's start assembling this part. First thing we want to do is put this in here and make sure that that tab lines up in there, and if it doesn't, just take and spin it a little bit and get it set in there. That's all it takes. We need to put a little bit of lube on here. And then we take and we put this keyed washer on there. Then we put a little bit more lube on here. And we put our plastic drag washer on there. And put some lube on the drag washer too. Now I want to put some lube on the main shaft here. Then put this on there. Put some lube on here. Okay, and then this acts as a drag washer and as kind of a shield for to keep the line from going in and going on the underside of the spool. And then I can put this on. I'm just going to put a little bit of lube around here because that's what the pins, the little pin levers will run on, and you want to make sure that they don't get damaged. And then we'll just put this on here. Make sure that this is all the way, yep, it is. And make sure that gets seated on there all the way. And there we go. Okay, that's together. Now this was pretty clean except for some dust in there. I just need to take and brush some of that dust out. And blow it out. There we go. Now this just has one pickup pin, and it was lubed a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and lube it a little bit more, wipe it out. These have ceramic pickup pins. That's one of the things I wish they would have made on these a little bit better, is that pickup pin would have been a little bit fatter. But they're super tough. They're ceramic and they're never going to wear out. But we need to add a little bit of lube down in here underneath that actuator. A little cam. And I'm going to oil this pin a little bit. There we go. That's all it takes. And put that up back on there. Tighten it up. Now sometimes these wear out and I just want to inspect this, and this is in really good shape. So I'm happy with that. And the drag works good. The hole goes towards the bottom, that hole right there. Put the handle back on. Wipe some of the crud on there. A lot of these come with a little copper washer on the back there. That has a couple of them. If you want to add the oil, you can add it right there. You know, every once in a while you can add a little bit of oil there. It doesn't take very much. Let it set in there. One of the things that you can do, you always need to take and add just a little tiny drop of oil to these. And work it in there a little bit. Put that on there. Okay. Okay, it cocks well. Well, the clicker's on. Clicker works. On. Off. That's your bait alert. So, you know what? That's a lot smoother. The drag works really well. Yeah, the drag works great. You can catch big fish with this if you had good heavy pound test. And it's much smoother now. But I need to put some new line on that and it'll be a great reel. Okay, that's all we need for that one. Let me know if you have any questions. Make comments below. Give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel by pressing on the button over there. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.